Hello, welcome back to Anonymous Live. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. And we're here on a new channel. Starting completely fresh. I have not done this with any project in many, many years. So we have had lots to do here, lots to learn here, lots to set up here, lots in progress. Thank you guys for being here, for supporting this new channel. It's going to take us some time to build back up to where we were with it being on my main channel, of course. This is a completely fresh channel, so everybody here is very appreciated. This is a project that's very important to me. This is a project that I started because I would have wanted something like this years ago. And I think that people benefit from having a place like this where they can just talk openly, anonymously, without fear of judgment. I think it brings people closer together, and it's cathartic. So thank you for being here and supporting this. Let's see here. Wow, I've got to add all the mods back. I see Easy and Offcore are here. Welcome. Guys, tonight is going to be a fairly short stream. There is so incredibly much happening right now. It's going to be about half the normal length is my guess. It's not going to be perfectly timed, but I'll wind it down about an hour from now. So soon we'll open up the lines and jump into some calls, and hopefully we can give people a space to talk for a little bit. We'll go for roughly an hour. If you're new here, you can join our Discord server. It's completely free. It's budding into a beautiful community. It already has budded into a beautiful community. It's not a massive server, but it's just a bunch of good people who want to make friends, want to talk about things that may be, difficult to talk about. So we've done our best to set that place up in such a way where people can go in there and talk about just chit-chat, or they can go in there and say, hey, I need someone to talk to about something kind of heavy. We have support channels in there. None of us are experts, I actually, there are some people in the community who are therapists, but they're not there to do therapy, just full disclosure. And also, while it's called the Anonymous Live server, it's not necessarily completely anonymous. So please use your discretion while you're in there. There are some anonymous channels that you can use, but you have to use those carefully to remain anonymous. So just be aware it's called the Anonymous Live server. It's just an extension of this stream here. So use discretion. Okay, so I think I've said all the things. We are currently working on doing cut downs of all the calls so far and uploading those here as independent videos so that people can watch those in shorter, more manageable chunks without having to sit through a 2 or 3 hour stream. We realize that some people feel like they're going fishing. We don't want people to feel like they're going fishing if they can just find a call based on a specific topic. So that's what we're trying to do. And so much going on, it's crazy. But this project is special to me, and I always look forward to these streams. So here we are. Lines are open. I have no idea what to expect on this stream because, again, we're starting from scratch. I was surprised to see that even that we broke 1,000 subscribers here so quickly, because this is not a popular thing that I do. This is not entertainment. It's not entertaining, but I have no idea what to expect, especially because this is a fresh channel. I don't know how YouTube will recommend this to people. So if you are here and you don't have bell notifications on, that would surely it's a guess that YouTube is probably going to be slower to recommend this stream with it being a new channel and a lower subscriber count. So if you don't want to miss these, you might turn on bell notifications. I have no idea how any of that's going to work, so full disclosure. This is kind of a bit of a gamble putting this up on a new channel. Lines are open. We'll sit here for a bit. as I said, this will be a shorter stream. Am I still the same Julian, despite this being a new channel? Yeah, we just needed to. I felt like it was important, and I had been getting some feedback that it would be important to put this on its own channel and let it live independently, because my main channel is known for comedy. And of course, I've used my main channel for so many different things over the years, but it just seemed like the right move. That milk is going to spoil under that light. I've had a really long day. Pretty wiped, and there's more to do. So we'll chill here for a bit. Maybe this is the first episode nobody calls in. Who knows? But this isn't about viewers. This isn't about entertainment. We're just here, and we hope that we can be there for people. I can confirm to the chat, this is not a clone. This is me. Here I am. Of course, some of the clones think they are me, so what do you do with that? This would have been a great night to have my keyboard hooked up and working. I have nothing planned, so this may just be super boring. We may just be sitting here. But, you know, if nobody calls, that's no news is good news. So maybe this will be the first stream with no callers. Wouldn't that be something? I guess it would be expected with this being a new channel. Again, I have no idea what to expect. Foam rolling tips and tricks. The foam roller, I will take a minute to say, if anybody listening to this has not gotten on the bandwagon of foam rollers, the best $30 you will ever spend, guaranteed. Best $30. Changed my life so much that I bought another one that was a little more rigid. You don't want one that's solid foam. You want one that is, in my opinion anyway, I had one that was solid foam, and it just had too much give. And then so I got one that was hollow on the inside, reinforced by plastic, hard plastic. Sorry, I bought some plastic. I don't like doing it. But at least I'm not like using it every day and throwing it away and getting a new one. Felt okay about some plastic in my foam roller, but the rigidity makes all the difference. Like my back, when I get it on in the morning, it sounds like a freaking xylophone. It's crazy. It's like, feels amazing. Get the tingles. But everybody, I don't know about tips and tricks. Everybody uses the foam roller differently, so I'm not here to tell people how to foam roll. You can get some advice from foam rolling experts, if that's a thing. I know there's lots of videos. I just like to do it on my back. Some people do it on their legs. I like to lay on it, put it parallel with my spine, go back and forth, widen out my shoulder blades. That's how I got these broad shoulders, guys. Foam rolling. Everybody had a pretty good week so far? What did you guys dress up as for Halloween? Oh, I'm not seeing all the chats. Gotta change this. Okay, there we go. Someone was Mario. You dressed up as an employee of your old job. There's an idea. I dressed up as myself, guys. I hate to let you down. I did not celebrate. Not because I didn't want to. There's just so much going on. And I didn't have my kids. If I'd had my kids, it would have been different. But I didn't have them on Halloween this year, so I took the opportunity to catch up on some things. And I worked. I was myself for Halloween, working. Not so festive this year. I felt bad. I was actually ill prepared. I should have put a bucket of candy out for the kids in the neighborhood at the very least, but I honestly forgot it was Halloween. I heard a knock on my door while I was at the computer doing some work, and I was like nobody knocks on my door. Who is this? And it freaked me out for a second. I was like, oh, it's Halloween, and I have no candy. I felt like a Scrooge. So I turned my lights out. I felt bad about it. I was mean this year, guys. Maybe that's appropriate because it's the nastiest holiday. I see that from Aiden Yelsma. Yeah, I wish I could have. I really could have used a place like this about at many times over the last 10 years. But yeah, it's the funniest thing. I can't use this place. I can't use it. Maybe I'll pre-record a conversation and play it one night as a caller. I'm not going to do that. That would be, I think people would know. I think people would know my voice at this point. I can't use this place. That's the irony. I wanted it. I started it. And now I can't use it. Sounds like a ton of work. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. I'm not going to start any rumors or suspicions. I will not be doing that, unfortunately. I'll just have to go to therapy when I need to talk. I like a lactose intolerant cheesemaker. This is certainly the slowest night we've ever had. I guess it's not to be. I guess it's not that much of a surprise. But fear not. We'll just hang out here. It's kind of like being in the Discord. It's kind of like hanging out in the Discord server. Only I can't hear anybody. I'm just here by myself. I am going to confirm the lines are open. Yes, they are. That's a good point. I see that from Aiden Yelsma. Let me do that, actually. I don't even know if we've announced this new channel in the Discord. So Aiden Yelsma brings up a good point. Maybe an everyone notification to let them know we're not on my old channel anymore might be helpful. I will do that now. I think only mods and admins can tag everyone. I don't like tagging everyone, but this seems like it needs to be done because I don't think it's been mentioned anywhere, which is a great point. So I appreciate that from Aiden Yelsma, I think it was. I'm no longer looking at the chat now. Why is typing at everyone so intense? Every time I do it, I'm like second guessing, tagging everyone. It feels like such a nuisance. Let's see here. I am the slowest poster in the world. Okay. We have done it. Looks like I missed a call, ironically, but it's okay. I have yet to announce that here. I see some of the mods announced it, but it was in the announcements channel and no one was tagged. So I have taken the hit of, I've taken the bullet for adding everyone. Now they'll be upset at me and not the mods. So that was a great suggestion from Aiden, just to make sure people knew we were here. Whoever that was that just called, looks like I missed a call. We will be hanging here. I was doing some announcements. I'm sorry I missed it. The irony of that. But we will be here. We're not going anywhere. This will be a shorter stream. We'll probably go for roughly 40 more minutes. This might be a single call night. So we will hang here and wait. I see that from Brad Hoffman. I don't really read a lot of fiction, actually. I read no fiction, actually. Sorry to let you down. Okay, we have some calls coming in, so we're going to jump into one. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hey, how are you?
I am well. How are you tonight?
Took a power nap. Feeling a lot better after that.
Good. Can we start with your age and a brief intro?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a 23-year-old, nothing crazy, young in life.
Okay. And
Um,
what brought you to call tonight?
I'm trying to figure out, kind of the purpose in life. That's a concept I've been struggling with.
Yeah, tell me about that. How long has that been going on? What's that feel like?
I recently got out of a long-term relationship, and it's kind of been the light's been shining on that concept a lot more recently. And I don't know, it feels like the whole world, not necessarily the whole world. Let me take that back. Um, it feels like there's just not a lot going right for me. It feels like a lot going against me.
Hmm. Is it because of the heartbreak? Is that what sounds like that's what triggered it? What what else is there that led you to this?
I feel like this thought's always kind of been lingering, there's always this pressure, societal pressure, parent pressure about graduating from college, getting a career, doing things. And I think during the relationship, it kind of helped to kind of as like background noise. It took
Hmm.
my immediate thought away from those concerns and kind of like what life is and kind of the true meaning behind it. And now it's kind of, I don't have that background noise. I kind of have to focus on this thing, and it's draining every day. I've been having thoughts more so, kind of like suicidal thoughts, that have been more persistent recently. And I'm not calling you for regards to that. Um, I feel like I'm getting worse in a way. I don't know if it's because I'm getting through the breakup. Is it because I had a lot of life changes recently? I'm not exactly sure, but it's getting to a point where it's just overwhelming. You know,
Yeah. So is it that the? It's an interesting way you put it about the relationship kind of serving as background noise that distracts you from the meaninglessness of that you're feeling in life. But is it possible that the that you found some meaning in the relationship, or I mean, it ended, so I'm assuming that it wasn't. Uh, there was something not right about it, that it couldn't sustain itself. It needed to end. So I'm not saying that like this person was your purpose in life or something like that. But is it possible that I mean, maybe it sounds like a lot of your meaning in life maybe comes from relationships. So I guess my suggestion is maybe that wasn't background noise. Maybe it gave you a sense of belonging or purpose, being in a relationship. Is that possible?
it's it's funny that you put it that way because I think you're 100% spot on. Um, I've been talking to somebody new recently, and there's a lot of emotions in the air regarding this person. Um, we've communicated our emotions towards each other, and now it's kind of I've been waiting, and it feels like I'm just going insane thinking about the response, the conclusion to this new possibility. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's from my long-term relationship. I'm not sure how much details I want to disclose on that, but it's it's been pretty recent. That breakup was pretty recent, and this new person actually kind of confronted me and said, "You're a red flag. You're how are you going to tell me you have feelings for me? You've developed these feelings for me, and yet it's been such a short time since your past relationship." And
Hmm.
so, to circle back to your question, I do think it's possible that I find meaning in relationships. However, one thought that I've been struggling with over the past 2 months more so this past month is that healthy? Am I trying to get into a relationship again because I like this person, or is it because I really just need it, for own selfish reasons?
It's a great question. I can't answer that for you, of course. I'm just here to listen and give you a place to think out loud, process these kinds of questions. These kinds of questions can drive us nuts. Um, Jacob Martin from the chat says to you, 23 is a really, really hard time for young men in my experience, both for me and for many of my friends. Young men have a craving for meaning and purpose. I think that's right. I've said that I don't know how many times on these streams that this age of life doesn't get enough credit or respect. I think it's because you're still a young adult and your brain is still developing, and I think a lot of adults maybe look down on that like, well, wait till you're my age, wait till you're in your 40s or 50s, like then tell me, how you're feeling. But you're finding your way in life at this age. Like you're inventing yourself. You are, and some of that work sure is done by your upbringing, by your parents, by the setting you're raised in. Some of that may be automatic, but like this is the age where you have to parse through all of that and pick and choose what of that serves you and where you're going in life. It's a really daunting age. And yet it's a rite of passage. We all have to go through this season of life. I think maybe that's why some older people, I don't want to say anybody's old, but I think that's why older adults maybe don't give this age enough respect, because it's like, well, you're still doing it. You haven't done it yet. And you are doing it. That's what you're doing right here, right now with these questions. I think it's a great question. Is it unhealthy to rely on a relationship for meaning? Plenty of people go through life very independently, and some people are monks and nuns and just remain completely outside of attachment for their whole life. But everyone's different. Everybody's journey in life is different. Everybody finds value and meaning and purpose in different things. So nobody can tell you but yourself what it is that you're after. And I think that it's a really awesome thing that you're asking questions like this instead of just going through life like whoop-de-doo, with your eyes closed. It's you seem like the kind of person who is very lucid, very aware, maybe sounds like you're very introspective. And am I sensing that right? Are you a pretty introspective person?
I have mixed feelings about it. You kind of used a word. I think you said awareness. Like you're very aware. Just because I'm aware of tendencies or thoughts or potential concerns that are have explanation. A good sense of possibility. It doesn't necessarily prevent me from acting as such or doing as such. And kind of this conversation, it's you shined a light on some different aspects I haven't thought before, and so I really appreciate that. But at the same time, I always have this thought of like, this is kind of what I've been told, and I'm not trying to discredit you or insult you, but it's also kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm looking for a clear answer, and I know you can't give that, and now I'm kind of just like in this rock and a hard place.
Well, we're talking through it. I try to be very careful not to give people advice here, because I'm not an expert and I don't know anybody that's calling in. I'm not trying to dodge your question. I'm just here to ask more questions, and maybe we'll arrive at some truths. It doesn't take an expert to be right about something, but I just try to be very careful here not to go doling out tons of advice, because I care about your life. I don't want to mess up your life. If we were at a party and we had just met and we were talking about this these are the kinds of questions I would ask you. That's kind of what I give you here, is a listening ear. I mean, I care about people in these places, because it's difficult. Um, Offcore, one of our mods, wants to know if you've always felt this way or if it was recent events that made you feel this way for the first time.
I would say the idea of like hopelessness or like meaning in life, that greater concept has been persistent for uh, probably around 8 or so years. But more
Okay.
specifically, I've started having more negative, and specifically I'll say suicidal thoughts. Um, and I know that's kind of a tough thing to hear, and I do want to assure you I am safe right now. I am fine.
Okay, good.
And those this new thought process that I've had recently has kind of developed over the past 2 or so months. I wouldn't say the thoughts of like what life is pointless. What's the point of continuing? That's been a thought before, but it's been a little bit more persistent, especially over these past 4 weeks. And kind of to tackle the what kind of brought this upon me, or was there a specific event? Actually, I got fired from my job recently, and I started a new job, and got kind of my first day. I was sitting through orientation a few weeks ago, and I was listening to these benefits, and I just had the thought in my head where I'm like, I really fucked up my last job. Uh, I acted out of character. I made some poor decisions, and ultimately, I'm ashamed of the way everything happened and how I got fired.
Yeah, that's a lot to process. Have you? It sounds like you've admitted to yourself that you have some regrets about some ways things went down, some choices that you made. You can share here about that if you want. You don't have to. But my point is, everybody knows what it's like to make a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. I know that's like a cliche, but it's cliche because it's true, and saying it's a cliche because it's true is also cliche. But you know, uh, but it's true, and that part is not cliche. uh, I think what I'm trying to tell you is like it's really healthy in my mind that you are able to acknowledge you made a mistake, because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people are unwilling to do that, um, and makes me wonder if you've forgiven yourself for making that mistake. I don't know what you did, but you know, people who've done really awful things are able to forgive themselves and move on once they've made it right, once they've rectified things with those involved. Um, and I'm wondering if you've made steps to rectify whatever it was that happened, so that you can find closure and forgive yourself.
My immediate response to that is that I don't think I can forgive myself. Um, and that's a little severe. That's a severe initial response. But long story short, I tried to fight an employee, and that's just that's not who I am. That's not. I'm not more so upset at the action, the act that I committed. I'm more upset with I kind of went against my own morals, my own ethics, the way I carry myself. And unfortunately, there's no way to have a positive conversation about this, because if I admit my action, or I tell somebody this is what happened, there's these immediate thoughts of, okay, this guy's probably a little hostile of a person, stuff like that.
I don't
And
think that. Just to be clear, I don't think that. Everybody, I mean, aggression isn't something bad people feel. Aggression is what happens when there's a threat. Aggression is there for a reason. Uh, Now, uh, there's a time and place for it, and I don't know what happened, and I'm not here to judge. What I'm trying to tell you is I don't judge you. Everybody goes to those. Everybody can get to that place. There's no one who can't get to that place. That thing is in us. It's there for. It's evolved. It's kept many people alive. Um, it's a self-defense mechanism, and I can think of times in my life where I've been too harsh with people. I mean, I've never like trying to think if I've ever even been in a fight. I've been punched in the face a couple times. Um, I don't think I've ever been in like a fight, but I've definitely said things before that were really aggressive in situations where it wasn't warranted. Um, and I know what that feels like. Uh, I don't judge you for. I'm just trying to tell you that when I'm hearing this, I don't think anybody here is judging you. We're all here to listen to things like this and give people a place to process this kind of stuff because it's difficult to talk about. But none of us judge you. We're here listening. You're safe here. I think it's great that you can open up and share about this, even if it's anonymous. Have you gone to the person that you crossed and said what you told us here, which was, look, I know you don't believe me, but what you saw was not me, and I screwed up big time, and I regret it because that's not a part of my morals. Those are all pretty close. I'm going from memory, but I remember you using a lot of those terms. I'm repeating back to you what I've heard. You've told us that, which says that you've kind of arrived at some closure about how you feel about it. But I'm wondering if you've gone to the person and acknowledged that, because that's a huge first step in being able to forgive yourself. In other words, you won't forgive yourself until you've at least tried to heal that with the person you crossed.
I did go back to him, and
How'd that go?
a little rocky, you know. Yeah, having somebody to threaten you one day, and then a few days later, you know, less than a week, come up to you and apologize. You know, it's kind of surreal, and I fully understand his reactions. You know, he's the one that reported, I believe, to the management team at my job when it happened, and rightfully so. My actions were unacceptable, and we fixed that friendship, and we operated back to normal after that day. And I don't know, I think the hardest pill for me to swallow is these actions happened. Every party was corrected, you know, we clarified everything and everything was good. And then, yeah, weeks later, I still got fired for it. I don't know, maybe it's, I care too much about the world being fair, I guess. I'm not entirely sure why I'm hung up on it, you know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look, let's applaud some things. First of all, what you just said is beautiful. I feel like that's true. I feel like you're the kind of person that really values fairness, and it takes a person like that to acknowledge what you've acknowledged, which is that you made a big mistake. It also takes a person who values fairness to swallow that pill. That's a big pill that you swallowed, to go back to that person and say that you regretted it and that you messed up. And I hear what I hear you saying, and maybe it's not right, but what I hear you saying is that in some ways it feels unfair that you lost the job because you tried everything in your power to make it right with the other party. Is that right? That maybe it feels unfair that even though it was correct, everything was corrected, you still lost the job?
100%.
Maybe that's what you're dealing with, somewhat here at least. We can talk about that a little bit if you want. I've got some thoughts on that at least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Well, my first thought is I'm also someone who really values fairness. I think the world is a crazy place, and the least we can all do is swallow our pride when we've messed up, because everybody messes up. That's actually the beauty of it. There's no shame in messing up, so long as you own it when it happens and say, look, I've learned something about myself and the world and you by crossing you in the way that I did. And I'm really sorry. And doing that with humility, not just like farting words out, but like
Yeah.
doing it with a sense of humility, like it sounds like you did. Um, that's a that's a beautiful person that can do that. Why? Because not everybody can do it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people just let things go and just never acknowledge what happened and just hope that it one day gets covered by the dust of the earth in time. But you didn't do that. You did the beautiful thing, which was to own a mistake and try to smooth things over, and you still lost your job. Now, that's tricky. I hear why that's tricky, because the world isn't, what is fair? You know, um, fair is something we made up to make civilizations possible. It doesn't exist. Nature's certainly not fair. It's brutal. Um, Fairness it probably comes from the Greeks and their idea of how to organize information, and uh, that's my guess. It probably comes from early civilization, because it certainly doesn't exist anywhere intrinsically. It's just something we made up. It's like that's why so many of our icons in society are. You see all these pictures of scales in balance. We also invented the scales, for fairness. Uh, Fairness is a beautiful thing that we should all strive for, but it's not real. It's an idea, just like money. Uh, so, I'm not like saying any groundbreaking stuff here, but I'm just trying to kind of get to some simple things that have helped me in times of chaos, because the world is full of chaos. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's chaos everywhere. Entropy is everywhere. It's there's a reason that the universe is constantly expanding and energy is constantly dissipating, and that to me, it might sound like a really cold thought, a really bleak thought, but for me, it's a beautiful thought, because for some reason that nobody knows, we have life here on Earth. Not just any life, not just like the bacteria swimming in soup. It's like we've got ecosystems. We've got prefrontal cortexes, and we can think, and we can reason, and we can create things like fairness, which are beautiful. And look at all we've created, despite the fact that pretty much everywhere else in the universe, it's just death everywhere. It's just punching nothing, just nothing, not even potential, really. In most parts of the universe, it's just empty. There's planets and stuff, of course. It's not just like there's nothing, but like there's no potential there for life. And that to me, again, some people might think that sounds like a really cold way to arrive at a sense of meaning and beauty in life, despite how chaotic it can be. But for me, it goes a long way, because I think that we, it might be unpopular opinion, but I think that we make our meaning. I think that we have to find it, at least. I think we choose it every day by what we spend our time doing, by what problems interest us in solving, finding something we care about, finding something that matters to us and caring for it. And I hear the voice of somebody who cares a whole damn lot about that kind of stuff based on how you've handled your mistakes. And I think that's beautiful. I just want you to hear me say that.
Thank you. And I do want to comment on your bacterial soup. Uh, Hilarious. Sorry. Uh, Also, I do want to comment. You said I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. It's groundbreaking to me. You know, just the simple thought of fairness being a made-up concept is something that I haven't thought of before. You know, the typical response to the conversation of fairness is like, well, the world isn't fair. Um, and so I think that's a unique way to look at it. And it's weird because I can agree with everything you say, genuinely. Like I wholeheartedly believe that you said that we make the meaning in our lives. You know, you and I, we make our own meanings in our lives every day. How we choose to act, how we choose to present ourselves, how whatever it is. And it's just now the thought in my head is, how did I lose that?
Well, you've lost a lot of stuff very quickly. I also know what that's like, to lose a lot of things that you care about. That's honestly, like, it breaks my heart hearing where you are, because it sucks. I get that. Off-core, one of our mods says to you, fairness also starts with being fair to yourself. And I think that's right. That you sound like you have a really high tolerance for self-reflection and being real with yourself, and maybe even being a little hard on yourself. You know, we can't control the world. We can't control the chaos of it, because entropy, it's a law of thermodynamics. It's like we can't do anything about it. It's just there, and for some reason we're here too, despite all the entropy. Look at us. It's my favorite. It's a term of mine. I'm probably going to eventually get a neon sign back here. It says "Party on Earth," because that's what it is. It's a party here. For some weird reason, there's nothing here. It's so bizarre, you know. And look at how beautiful it is. Look at what we've made. We're not just like killing each other in the woods anymore. We've invented ways to trade with each other and create a beautiful way of life, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people go through, they deal with nihilism and like feeling like civilization's just a wreck and it's going nowhere fast. But I think it's just entropy. I think we should expect entropy to pull everything apart. There's a reason why you have to maintain your house or it'll fall apart. Like if you buy a house, you take care of it because it's going to fall apart unless you take care of it. Same thing with relationships. Relationships will deteriorate if you don't maintain them. That's why I say I think life is about finding something that means something to you and caring for it, because it's going to fall apart. One day, it won't be here anymore. So how can we preserve it? How can we preserve things that matter to us? And that's where I think, that's at least how I find my meaning in the world. I'm also a dad, so I get a lot of automatic purpose just from loving my kids and wanting the best for them. But, as far as purpose, which is a difficult word, I think it's like we make that just like we made fairness. I think we make it one day at a time with our decisions. And so my words to you would be, find something that really matters to you, whether it's a problem in the world or, I mean, this is what we do for work. When we go to work, we're not just like doing a job. We're solving problems every day. Everybody has a role at a job that solves a problem. And that's why we make money doing it, because problems aren't easy to solve. So we're paid to do it. And, we of course, not all of us can do exactly what we want to do. I wish Anonymous Live was a massive nonprofit just giving tons of money to charities. And like, I wish we had more hands here to help, because this is, but it's, I have no idea. Like I have no idea if this thing will ever work. I have no idea. I just keep doing it because I care about it. And it gives me a lot of sense of meaning because it's a difficult problem. Um, and I'm not trying to make it about me or Anonymous Live. I'm just giving you some examples of ways I've found meaning through bleak times. And I think that everyone does that, whether they're religious, irreligious, a monk, a criminal. We make our meaning one decision at a time. And be careful what you make that. So find something that's beautiful to you and care for it.
I think that's the motivational speech I needed. Not today, but just at this point in my life, there's been a few topics, a few problems, that I've noticed in the world or things that I'm passionate about. Also, I wouldn't be myself if I didn't tell you not to apologize. You're just speaking passionately about things you're passionate about. You don't need to apologize for that. And
I appreciate that.
I really do think that's the motivational speech I needed to put some of my decisions that I've been contemplating into motion.
Great. I want to repeat back to you that you. It sounds like you've done some amazing inner work on yourself, and you sounds like you did all the right things. I don't like saying right things because it implies that there was like one thing that you could have done and you did it. But you did the beautiful thing in the story that you told about crossing your coworker. Again, I say everybody does that. Everybody says something or does something that either is misunderstood by someone else and ruffles their feathers, and that's actually the worst kind of mistake because sometimes those things go unnoticed or like nobody says anything about it, and then like just resentment builds over time because it just was invisible to the person who crossed who made the mistake. So let's say it's great that you identified that there was a problem with your coworker, that you made a mistake, and you went back to them and tried to make it right. And yeah, you said the response was a little rocky, but in time, we don't know what can happen. All we can do is, sometimes we have to find our own closure in life. Sometimes, and that's why I was asking earlier, have you forgiven yourself for that? Because sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to say, look, like I did everything in my power to smooth this thing over, and it was impossible. So you can, at that point, you can still forgive yourself and send the other person good vibes, wish the best for them. And who knows, maybe in time you bump into them at the store or something, and they're like, oh yeah, like I remember that time we had a little thing, and then they made it right. And then like, who knows, maybe in a couple years, who knows what can happen. But sometimes we have to forgive ourselves before the other person fully will. But I hear the voice of someone who really cared about the mistake they made and really, really valued fairness and wanted to make that right. And it sounds like you did everything you could. So let's celebrate that. And I would say maybe try to go a little easier on yourself. Take it easy on yourself.
It's so hard to do, man.
I know it. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it either. I'm pretty hard on myself. But also it's funny, like I'm not, I spend so much time talking to people about things like this, and I never want to give off the impression that I'm perfect at any of this stuff either, because I'm definitely not. It's a lot easier to, I do my best in life, but everybody makes mistakes. And I think that talking about this stuff is helpful because it just reminds us, hey, we're all human. Like, we're all going to mess up. And I think the point of this project is kind of to just take it easy, take it easy on yourself, because it's easy to be our own worst critic, especially if you care about things like fairness in the world. It's the people who don't care about that that are maybe too easy on themselves and never own up to mistakes they've made. Like a narcissist, for example. Like they can't. I'm not trying to dog narcissists, but I'm saying like they can't be real with themselves. And so they go too easy on themselves. So I'm not telling you to like let yourself off the hook. I think it's great that you're reflective and of your choices and that you care so much. I'm just trying to reframe it a little bit so that it's you can see it as a beautiful thing, a beautiful quality that you have. And I think that will lead itself to taking it a little easier on yourself. Maybe you haven't acknowledged that caring about these things comes so naturally to you. Are you able to identify some things that you're good at or come naturally to you? Are you able to do that? Could you tell us a couple things that are unique about you that you think are beautiful? You got anonymity here. I'm asking you to tell us some things. Nobody's going to think you're conceited. I'll pry it out of you if I have to, because I'm hearing a lot of beautiful things. I know it's in there. So what is it?
Yeah, no, I can absolutely do it. First off, nothing you're saying is blasphemy or anything crazy. I'm a down to earth person, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna walk away. You could call me a narcissist, or you could insult me in some way or whatever. I know you won't. I'm not saying you need to. I'm just saying
You don't sound like a
at the end of the
narcissist
day.
to me. I was trying to draw some contrast between what I hear
No,
that's
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I would probably say a beautiful thing. That's not a word I like to use for myself, but is able to process information. I'm a firm believer. There's some people that hate when I say this, but I'm a firm believer. There's three sides to every story. There's my side, your side, and then the truth. And
Interesting.
I'm a firm believer that I can always interpret information from both sides, whatever that is, and kind of dictate not the truth or the reality of the situation, but more so kind of the neutral that neither side can see clearly. I feel like I'm a good mediator on certain things, and I think that also kind of leads to some of my insanity. I'm a very logical person, so I always look for morality and ethical decisions as, the right or the best decision to be made. And I tend to think maybe too much, I think, when it comes to like morality or correctness or fairness of my own decisions before I make them.
Was that I think too much? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't not touch that. That was amazing. I have the same problem. I overanalyze everything. I mean, I've had to really learn when to just put a thought away, because I can, I know what that feels like. I'm actually, I feel like I'm relating to you a little bit. I think that's beautiful that you see, look, like you were able to do that. I maybe pried it out of you a little bit, but I wanted you to, you're being really hard on yourself. And I think that a part of self-acceptance is not just doing what seems to come so naturally to you, which is owning your mistakes and really dwelling on them sometimes to improve yourself, but also acknowledging the progress you have made. Because if you can't do that, you don't know where you are, and that can leave you feeling a little lost. So I think it's an important part of self-reflection is saying, well, I've made these mistakes, and as a result, I learned X, Y, Z, and now I'm better off for it. So that's why I wanted to kind of hear you share some things about us that you love and care about. Self-Care Warrior has a great quote from Aldous Huxley that I love. Thank you for sharing that. They say to you, there are quicksands all about you, sucking at your feet, trying to suck you down into fear and self-pity and despair. That's why you must walk so lightly, my darling. That's Aldous Huxley. What an amazing writer he was. And
That's beautiful.
Nubbins was here. So beautiful. Nubbins was here, says to you, Self-criticism can be healthy if it's sprinkled in once in a while as a motivating force for evolving positively, but we have to be kind to ourselves. All about balance. Beautiful. So many good thoughts in the chat. There's a lot of good stuff for you in the chat that you could revisit tomorrow once the stream is up. Maybe that you might find some more motivation from the thoughts of the chat. I don't do any of this alone. The chat are here for you too, so you might consider reading that tomorrow. And Offcore says to you again, you sound self-aware and able to acknowledge your actions and choices without shying away from them. That's not always easy for us to face, but you'll sort things quicker as a result. I think that's true. Thank you for that, Offcore.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to reach out tomorrow.
Great.
I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I know there's other people.
I'm really glad that we're just doing one call tonight. It's got to be a short stream tonight, but I'm really glad we got to talk. I'm really glad that you called in and shared. I hope that you got anything out of this. Is there anything else that would make this a good call? And also, actually, I have one question after that too.
No, I think tonight was beautiful. And before I forget to mention it, I really commend you on this. You call it a project. It's funny. I've been thinking about writing a book about men's mental health because I was in Target looking at all these young adult books, and they were all catered to young women. And so, not saying this platform or this project is directed towards men. It's something easier for me as a man to have found and to use. But I just want to commend you that what you're doing is phenomenal. You seem like a phenomenal person, and I just want to commend you on what you do.
That means a lot to me. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being real with us. You were really real. A lot. I mean, everybody that calls in is pretty real, or at least we pry it out of them. But you were really real. I want to applaud you for the great work that you've done on yourself and in owning your mistakes. That is beautiful. More people ought to approach their mistakes the way that you do. So I'm here to tell you you're on the right track. And my last question to you is, what's one thing you can do tomorrow that will take you a step in the direction you're feeling is proper for you? What's one small thing you can do tomorrow, whether it's a new thought or a new mantra or eating more fruit or going for a run or a walk, reading a new book, writing the book you want to write? What's one small step you can take tomorrow that's achievable tomorrow so that tomorrow night when your head hits the pillow, you can look back and say, I took that step today and I'm better off for it? What's that one thing you can do tomorrow?
I think there's a few things. I think ultimately the first and the foremost that I need to master is care less. Or walk lightly, I believe is what the quote said.
I love that. Don't be careless, just care less.
Correct.
I love that. That's great. That's great. Great first step. Well, you can call again anytime. Lines are always open to you. I'm really glad we got to talk tonight. What a great conversation. I thought it was beautiful. You're on the right track, my friend. Take care of yourself and call again anytime if you need to talk. We'll be here.
Appreciate it, sir. You have a great night.
You too. Good night.
Good night.
Wowza. That call meant a lot to me. Caller, you sound awesome. Stay real. Guys, this is going to be a short stream tonight. I'm really sorry. There's a lot of things pulling at my time right now. I'm always saying that, but especially this week, there's just so much to do. So I'm glad that, hey, we got our first stream up on the new channel, and we got what an amazing first call for the new channel. I'm so I'm constantly amazed by the way you guys use this place, including the chat. Chat, you are awesome. I also want to thank our mods. Tonight we had a bunch. It was like Mod City in here. Thank you, Offcore. Thank you, Deanna Krebs. Thank you, Easy Cheesy. I also see, I saw King's Pawn in here. King's Pawn, you are awesome. You are always so helpful with, King's Pawn is a little behind the scenes here. but is very helpful to the project. Thank you guys for being awesome. We have a Discord server. I trust most of you know about it because most of our viewers tonight came after I posted in the Discord. So just for those who may be watching later, there's a free Discord server that's an extension of this project. It's the Anonymous live server. The link is in the description. It's a beautiful place to hang out, talk about video games, talk about books, talk about problems. It's just a community. And we've made it free so that anybody can join, and we hope that that is a great place for people to connect. We do these streams twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific for roughly 2 hours. And thank you guys for being here. I will see you on, what is today? Tuesday? I'll see you in a couple days. Have a great start to your week, and I will see you soon. Good night.